Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We will start with a couple of selections by the Fort Braden Band, led by our band director, Mr. Perigo. So let's give them a round of applause.
I will not be directing today because sometimes on Mondays somebody doesn't show up that's really needed. When you have a small band, that sometimes is a big impact, like our drummer for today. Xander is not here, so the director will fill in and direct at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Great job. Mr. Perigo has only been working with those students for about 12 weeks now, and he has done wonders, and I am very proud of the kids and their hard work this year. So let's give them one more round of applause. Good morning and welcome to Fort Braden School, which is Leon County's only traditional pre-K through 8th public school. Our students are here with us normally 9 years, 10 years, some a little longer than that. But we take great pride in our school as being the hub of our community. great pride in it, serving as a true community school. And it means a whole lot to have all of our distinguished guests and visitors here today to recognize Fort Braden, but also to recognize Parent Involvement Month for the Department of Education for the month of November. We're so excited to host it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this is the first time that they've had Parent Involvement Month kick off at a public school. So I'm excited for Fort Braden, and for that I'd like to give our students in the school a round of applause. Thank you. All of our honored guests here today, we're lucky to have Pam Stewart, our Commissioner of Education, is here with us today. Our contingent of wonderful people from the Department of Education, if they'll raise their hand. They've been up here working since early this morning. All of our Leon County schools staff that came out from their busy day to join us for this celebration. We appreciate them being here. And we especially appreciate our Superintendent of Leon County Schools being here today to join us, Mr. Jackie Pons. Who every day leads our district as one of the exemplary districts across the state of Florida, and I'm proud to serve under his leadership. We'll start with our Parent Involvement Pledge. It's actually located on the back of your agenda today, and that will be led by our very own parent, Miss Norma LaMonica.
All right. Can everybody hear me? All right. The pledge for parental involvement. As a parent, guardian, or caring adult, I hereby give my pledge to support a high-quality education for all of Florida's students to the best of my ability. I have high expectations for my child and all of Florida's children to succeed in school and in life. I pledge to stay involved, serve as a positive role model, and maintain open communication with my child's teacher and school to ensure education remains a top priority in my household. I understand that it is my responsibility to stay informed and involved in all aspects of my child's education. Education is the key to success, and I will do everything I can to nurture my child's ability to learn.
Ms. LaMonica was a little worried about her pledge this morning, but I think she did a great job. Real proud of you. Thank you so much. Next up, we're going to talk briefly. Our superintendent of schools, Mr. Pons, issued a challenge to all public schools in our district this past summer, and that was for us to reach 1 million books read as a school district. I'm proud to say, Dr. Gill, I'm sure, has a barometer on the number, but I'm proud to say that here at Fort Braden School, we actually have, for the first 12 weeks of the school year, have read nearly 16,000 books as part of that million book challenge. I think Dr. Gill, exactly the number was 15,924 as of this morning. So we've got to get busy to reach that 16,000 by the end of the day. But that is a tribute not only to the students at Fort Braden School and the teachers at Fort Braden School, but it's also a tribute to you parents out there, both the parents that joined us and the ones that can't be here today. Your encouragement and your establishing the right that literacy is important in your home only encourages the experiences that we provide them here. Many times, the reading experience doesn't extend into the home, and it has to be reinforced for it to be successful and for it to be something our students can carry with them for a lifetime, which is a love of literacy and reading. Our particular challenge is to reach 50,000 points. Now, we're well on our way, but how much really is $1 million? Well, I certainly wouldn't know because I don't have $1 million. I certainly don't have 1,000,000 hours, and although some of you think differently, I'm not 1,000,000 years old. But joining us today to give us an idea of how much 1,000,000 actually is, I'd like to ask for our parent and student readers to come up at this time to tell us how much 1,000,000 is. Joining us on stage are Karen and Sophia Willett.
How much is it? If 1,000,000 kids are onto one another's shoulders, they would be
taller than the tallest buildings, higher than the highest mountains,
and farther up than everything can fly.
If you wanted to count from 1 to 1,000,000, it would take you about 23 days.
If a goldfish bowl were big enough for 1,000,000 goldfish,
It would be as large enough to hold a whale.
press 100 stars. If this book had 1,000,000 tiny stars, they would fill 70 pages on the board.
Let's give her a round of applause. Takes a lot of confidence to get up here in front of this whole group of people, and I'm real proud of her today. Good job. Next on our agenda, I'd like to bring up the leader of Leon County Schools. Every day leads us towards great learning experiences during both difficult and easy times, and we're proud to have him as our leader, Mr. Jackie Pons.
Well, it's always great to be here at Fort Braden, and as I'm driving out here, I'm reminded of what the community has told me so many times, that how much you love your school. And I remember as a superintendent, when I was first elected, one of the toughest decisions I had, well, not the toughest, probably the easiest, was hiring the principal here. And what a great job Jimbo Jackson does for this community. And let's recognize him for his leadership. Students, we're here today to talk about the Million Book Challenge, but we're also here to talk about the kickoff for parental involvement. And if there's ever a community that gets it when it comes to parental involvement, it's the Fort Braden community. Because anytime we have any type of meeting out here, or anytime we have any type of educational forum, the community is there. And just like today, when we watch parents come up and read with their children, or parents involved every day with educating their children, we understand that this community gets it, and it's very, very important. A K-8 school, and there's not a day goes by that I don't even hear from parents saying, why don't we have a high school out here too, you know? So I hear that over and over, because they love this community. But students, one thing that I would encourage you to do as a little bit of homework for a Million Book Challenge, it's that how many of you actually go home during the week sometime and have the opportunity to read? If you read at home, raise your hand. I want to see students. Wow, congratulations on that. Give yourselves a big hand for that. And I hope that we're making sure that we keep track of all the books that we read for our Million Book Challenge. Now, how many of you, when you go home to read, involve your parents or your aunts, your uncles, your friends? How many of you read to your parents when you go home during the week? Raise your hand. Look at that. Give yourselves a big hand for that. Because all of that is important, because what we know is if you end up loving to read and you get your parents involved in the reading process and you enjoy reading, that you're going to be a lifelong reader, and that your chances for success in school as far as making very good grades and understand what you're doing goes up to a higher level just because you love to read. Reading isn't something that we want to make you do. Reading is something we want you to do because you love to do it. And that's what makes great readers. And what helps us with that process is having our parents involved, reading with you every day. So that is my message today, to encourage you as part of your homework assignment from the superintendent. It's let's encourage this role of reading with our parents, reading with our friends, and also reading with our aunts and uncles, so reading becomes something that we enjoy each and every day. We do have one of the highest performing school districts in the state of Florida, and we're very, very proud of that. But that would not come without the support of a great educational leader. And we are very fortunate in this state as our commissioner to have Pam Stewart. Now, Pam is somebody who has come in at some tough times for the state of Florida. We're changing assessments. We're doing all kinds of what I would call students a difficult journey. But she has been a steady hand through that process, and we really appreciate her leadership and the leadership she's provided, not only for superintendents, but she recognizes the role that teachers play each and every day in our system, and that in Leon County we wouldn't have the great students and the success that we have without having the best teachers in the state of Florida. So I would like to recognize all of our teachers that are here. Raise your hand if you teach here at Fort Braden. I know we've got, there we go. Let's give them a big hand. Because everywhere that I hear our commissioner speak, she talks about not only Leon County, but she can say in the entire state of Florida, we have the best teachers in the nation. And that's what makes our system so strong as we move forward. So at this time, thank you for having me today, but I want to introduce our educational leader, an individual who has led us through good times and through tough times, and somebody that recognizes what education is all about. Let's give Pam Stewart a big hand as she comes forward.
Thank you, Superintendent Pons, and it is indeed a pleasure for me to be here today. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize the great work of the Fort Braden Band that performed for us before we began today. Appreciate that. I was a band student from 4th grade through 12th grade, so I know what that takes, and appreciate the work that you've done. And boy, what a great job, Mr. Perigo, to step in and play drums. That was pretty admirable. I appreciate that you were willing to do that, but not only that, that you actually could do that. So that was pretty amazing. The superintendent already told you that I believe, and we have some evidence to prove, that we have the best teachers in the nation. And he's already recognized the teachers here, but I personally want to recognize the teachers that are in the room and thank them for the good work that they do. We know that our students could not achieve what they're able to achieve without the good work of the teachers that are here. Your principal, Jackson, has already told you that this is the first time that we have kicked off parental involvement by being out in a school. And on the way out here, I was thinking, why didn't we decide to do this sooner? It only makes sense to talk about parental involvement in a school. And so I'm grateful that Fort Braden opened their doors and allowed us to come today. And I am impressed with Superintendent Pons' challenge of 1 million books. I think that's pretty amazing. And I did a quick calculation, And the number of books that the students at Fort Braden have read so far means that they've read about 23 books each. Each student has read about 23 books. That's pretty amazing. Wow. And Sophia, that was one of them that you read, right? One of your 23 that you did. 1 million is hard for us even to think about. But I raised my hand when Superintendent Pons asked how many of us go home and read. I read every single day. And I did a quick calculation. I think I read about a book a week. Sometimes less, sometimes more. But probably around a book a week. So I read about 50 books a year. So I'm going to make a challenge. Students, are you ready in this room? I'm going to challenge somebody in this room. I'm going to challenge Superintendent Pons to see which of us can read more books. I think he's up for the challenge. Yeah? You think he'll beat me? Oh, challenge her? Does she read more than a book a week? Oh, yeah. Well, then I know I'm already lost. I really do appreciate Leon County and this school in particular for opening their doors and letting us come in. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize my great DOE staff that's here today, some of them coming in as early as 7 o'clock this morning to help get set up for this event today. And I'll tell you, we picked this school purposely. You heard the superintendent talk about the fact that when you open the doors for any event at Fort Braden, you'll find parents here. And I'll tell you that, you know, Fort Braden got a B grade, and that's awesome. The work that was done here by the teachers, the students, and the parents, as well as your principal, right? Helped you get that B, and that's amazing work that you all have done. But in addition to that, Fort Braden this summer was honored for being the recipient of the 2014 Parental Involvement Award. And that award recognizes innovative practices. Students, do you know what innovative means? That means new and exciting. New and exciting practices to involve parents and family members in school programs. Fort Braden, and I am so excited about this project. They submitted a winning entry called the Mathophobia Hotline. Does anyone have math phobia? Well, that's a hotline for those who have some math phobia, and they can call in and families can engage in supporting their children in math. We all know that unless you use it every single day, that those math skills can begin to slip. So Fort Braden recognized the fact that maybe not every parent actively uses math every day, and we could use some help in helping our children. So proud of Fort Braden for doing that. I'd love to see more schools provide that kind of math support for families. So you heard Superintendent Pons say that we have the best teachers in the nation, but Florida is a leader in education in many other ways. We went from 11th to 6th in the nation in education in 2013. That's the last time that measure was done. We'll have one again coming up pretty soon, but so far we moved from 11th to 6th in the nation. That's really big. That's a big jump that we made. We've also narrowed the achievement gap. In fact, Florida was the only state in the nation that narrowed the achievement gap between white and African American students in both 4th and 8th grade in both reading and math. The only state in the whole nation, #1, top state for narrowing that gap. And NAEP is an assessment that's given throughout the whole nation, a sampling of students, And our 12th grade Hispanic students performed better than any other state in the nation. Our 12th grade Hispanic students performed better in reading than any other state. We also have the best teacher quality policies in the whole nation. We've been rated #1 in our teaching policies. We also increased our STEM enrollment. Everybody in the room know what STEM is: science, technology, engineering, and math. And those are important right now. We know that there are lots of jobs that are in that field, and we increased the accelerated enrollment in those subjects by 46% in the last 5 years. And I'll tell you that our success is because of the teachers in this room, the leadership in this room, and also the parents who take an active role in their students' education, because we know that students perform better when we have situations like Ms. Willett, who is working with her daughter and helping in supporting the reading at home. There's a lot of research that shows that when there is support at home, when there's mentoring at home, when we have strategic partnerships, students earn higher grades. They are more likely to be promoted and pass their courses. They attend school regularly. They have better social skills. They show improved behavior at school, and they adapt very well. They graduate from high school and go on to some sort of post-secondary training. One of the best ways for families to interact and engage with their children and to help make a tremendous impact on their learning is to read, just like you saw this morning on the stage. The Children's Reading Foundation has a national campaign that encourages parents to read with their children 20 minutes a day, starting at birth and continuing through elementary school. Reading each day builds vocabulary, language, pre-literacy skills, social and emotional skills. And I would suggest to you that reading aloud with students really is helpful all the way through high school. I was a high school principal, and I required my teachers to read for 5 minutes at the beginning of every single class. They read aloud to their students in their class. One of our top priorities for the people that you see sitting over here is to work with schools throughout the state to make sure that students have literacy skills in order to be ready for whatever they choose to do when they leave high school. The mission ties in perfectly with Superintendent Pons' Million Book Challenge and Fort Braden's school goal of reaching 50,000 books. Are you going to help us get there? Yes. We want to read accelerated reader books for this 2014-15 school year. And I'll tell you, you're already at 16,000, you're gonna make it. You're gonna get to 50,000 books. If all of you students keep reading books, you'll reach that 50,000 book goal. If you reach the 50,000 book goal, I really kind of think you may lead this district in the number of books per student that you read. So I encourage you to read all the books you can to get to 50,000 books. Keep reading. It's so important. It's really like watching a movie in your head when you read a book. Now at this time, I would like to introduce to you one of my favorite teachers. This is our Florida Department of Education Macy's 2015 Teacher of the Year, Christy Bassett. Christy is an art educator at Highlands Grove Elementary School in Polk County. One thing that made Christy stand out among the best teachers in Florida is that she has special art lessons, because she doesn't just teach art. She has designed her classes to help students get the skills they need in literacy, in science, in social studies, in math, in geography, in geometry, and learning all of that through the visual arts. Please help me welcome our Florida Department of Education Macy's 2015 Teacher of the Year, Christy Bassett.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Stewart. And I really appreciate her saying those things about my program because it is true. The arts are an excellent way to increase student achievement and student learning. And I can tell that's true here at this school because of your wonderful band. And as I walked the halls to the cafeteria, I see the amazing artwork on the walls. I can tell that your teachers are dedicated to fine arts. And I bet your parents really enjoy seeing and hearing what you've created. I'm excited to kick off Parental Involvement Month. The relationship a child's family has with their school and teachers is a huge factor in the success of their child's schooling. I hope that families in Florida use this month to increase their involvement in their child's education. I would also like to encourage Florida teachers to invite parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, older siblings into their classrooms to volunteer. I hope that Florida schools will hold many family activity nights, not just this month, but every month. I also want to urge Florida teachers to make a continual positive contact with parents. I want Florida teachers to make sure that they are taking the time to send an encouraging note home, make a positive phone call to your students' caregivers, and make sure you are constantly inviting students' families into your classrooms. Teachers are the ambassadors for our schools and for our education system. We appreciate everything Florida teachers do to promote family involvement. And we also appreciate all of the hours Florida families invest in our schools and their students' education. I know you all are going to have a fantastic Parental Involvement Month. We look forward to seeing what you and your families can do together. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those remarks, both Commissioner as well as our Teacher of the Year. Next up, we will have a sample of the 2013 Parental Involvement Contest winner.
Hi, I'm Delia, and this is my Papa. I call him Papa Matt, but kids around here call him Mr. Vanstrap. My Papa works hard as a cabinet maker, but he still finds the time to help me learn. My Papa volunteers as my on-season mind coach every single week. The kids on my team love Papa. He helps us learn how to solve problems and think outside the box. Papa doesn't just help me. He also mentors other kids at Trasco, and he helps lead the All-Pro Dad program at my school. He is a very busy man, but he always finds time for what's most important to him.
All right, that kind of makes a segue to the next group of folks that I wanted to talk about today, and I know that at least a couple of them are here. We have some mentors that came out today to join us. If they may not want to stand up, but if you'll raise your hand or let us recognize our mentors that work with our students on a regular basis. These folks come out on a very regular basis. By regular, I mean they take time from their jobs and their responsibilities and come out weekly, some twice a week, to work with deserving students and students that present opportunities for growth that they would not have that contact with a significant adult otherwise. And I'm very, very thankful for those mentors that come out and work with our students. A whole slew of them that aren't here today will be here later on this week to put in their time with their students. So again, we appreciate our mentors and the work that they do both in the classroom and also with those individual students. Next group of people, all of the parents. Parents, go ahead and stand up because That's what this is all about, is parental involvement. Parents, grandparents. I want to thank the parents that took time out of their busy schedules, either to leave work or play hooky or call in sick, whatever got them here today. I want them to know how much we appreciate them taking time out of their schedule to be here, because that demonstrates to your student how important education is. When they see you take the time to be involved in their school, they realize the commitment that you're making, and they will pay you back many times over in return. So again, I appreciate those folks. Another group you talked, both the superintendent and commissioner talked about our teachers. I'm going to ask them to stand just real briefly, if my teachers could stand. Commissioner Stewart talked about moving from a grade of C and increasing by a total of 80 school accountability points over a 2-year period. Those people who just stood, or were already standing, were responsible for that hard work, and I appreciate them every single day. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the outstanding leadership staff here at Fort Braden. That does not include me, it includes our 2 wonderful assistant principals. Dr. Meir in the back, she'll stand up, and Miss Patricia Rouse. And the people that made all this happen today, believe it or not, we didn't just come back and a magical group of people came in and decorated this and the way it looks today. I want to thank the staff and the committee that put this together, especially Miss Jackson in the very back by the coffee. Our hidden technology person back here behind the screen that put all this together for you. And all of the hours that folks put in to make this all possible and make it such a great celebration for today. I know you all have very, very busy schedules. However, our superintendent will be visiting with us in a group of 1st and 2nd graders to do a little bit of reading shortly down in the media center. We're having a 2nd grade and 1st grade class come down there with him. Again, I want to thank Commissioner Stewart for coming out today. Ms. Bassett, our Teacher of the Year, for visiting the Fort Braden School campus, and our School Superintendent, Jackie Pons, for the tireless work he does and coming out to Fort Braden and visit our campus. It's a great day to be principal at Fort Braden School and to be able to show off and brag about all these kids, teachers, and parents. So again, thank you for coming out and being a part of this celebration. I encourage you to travel safely. If you're going to your jobs, travel safely, and we hope to see you back at our PTO meeting, parents, for November. Thanks again for coming out today, and it's great to have you here.